Today we are going to complete lesson 13.5 on page 584. Our purpose today is to solve two-step equations so that you can apply this skill to real-world situations. The first thing we're going to talk about is how to actually solve a two-step equation. Step one is going to be to isolate the variable and the coefficient by applying the properties of equality. This could be the addition property of equality, could be subtraction, multiplication, or division. And remember, the properties of equality state that whatever you do to one side of an equation, you have to do the exact same thing to the other side of the equation, and then the equation will still be true. Okay, so after you isolate the variable and coefficient to one side of the equation, then you're going to isolate just the variable by applying properties of equality a second time. Might be a good idea to pause the video and copy these two steps down in your notes. Okay, let's do a couple of practice problems. The first one is solve for negative 3x plus 5 equals 2. The first thing we're going to do is apply the subtraction property of equality. This means that I am going to undo the addition right here by subtracting 5 from each side. Then the simplified new equation states that negative 3x equals negative 3. Now I'm going to undo the multiplication by applying the division property of equality. Remember, you use inverse operations to isolate the variable. So I'm going to divide each side by negative 3, and then I am left with x equals 1. It's important after you complete an equation to always double check your work. So let's put the value of 1 in for x. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, plus 5 is going to equal 2. So our answer is correct. Example 2. This time we are going to be using rational numbers. So we have x eighths minus a half equals negative 7 halves. So the first thing that we are going to do is use the addition property of equality, and that will help us get rid of the subtracting 1/2. So that means I'm going to add half to each side, and that leaves x over 8 on the left side of the equation and negative 3 on the right. Now, remember, I've said multiple times that a fraction is just a division problem. So x eighths really just means x divided by 8. So we use the multiplication property of equality to undo that division. So both sides will be multiplied by 8. When I simplify the equation, I get x equals negative 24. So when we check our problem, we put negative 24 in for x. Then we do the math. So negative 24 divided by 8 is negative 3. And negative 3 subtract 1/2 leaves us with negative 7 halves. So final answer is negative 7 halves, and that does equal negative 7 halves. So we know our answer is correct.